this point, we're pretty much accustomed to having an update from Sledgehammer every single Friday as a part of their weekly update series. Now, this is something that, of course, we've been recapping every single time, so I can keep you guys in the loop with all things Call of Duty World War II, but this week is a little bit different because next week, as you guys may or may not know, E3 is going on, and so there's actually going to be a lot of stuff regarding Black Ops 4 happening next week. It is playable on the show floor for anybody that is in attendance for E3. There's also going to be people going and presumably seeing more stuff as well, since this is going to be a bigger build than that of what was at the reveal event. So there's going to be some stuff to talk about with Black Ops 4, and of course, all eyes will be there for that, not only with multiplayer, but some zombie stuff as well, as Jason Blundell said. But that said, that week is going to be dominated by Black Ops 4. So Sledgehammer is again doing a nice little gesture of goodwill to our friends at Treyarch, and instead are not going to be doing one next week. So this week's update is actually going to have 2 weeks of content in terms of updating and what we can look out for, all in one post here with this. So we're going to be taking a look at that today and letting you guys know everything you need to pull out from this weekly update from Sledgehammer. So first and foremost, let's talk about the first of the 2 weeks here with this one. The first thing they mentioned was, of course, the weekend warfare, which is going on right now within Call of Duty World War II. It's the triple double on Horde Point this weekend, so that means that you'll end up getting double XP, double weapon XP, and double division XP in the Horde Point playlist. That's going to go until Monday, June 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and honestly, it's a great way to rank up. We don't get all that many triple doubles anymore, or at least not as of recently. Of course, we got a lot of them beforehand, but Blitzkrieg ended up giving us a lot of things, more so in the way of partying up, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, last weekend we had it with Infected and Gross and House, but this time it's in Horde Point. You're still going to get a ton of XP in this game mode, especially just because, once again, it's so chaotic, so hectic. You have the option to play the objective or go for kills, and of course, the zombies also help you out in that sense, but that's something that you should totally take advantage of while it is available. As for the community challenge, they gave us a little bit of an update on this again because we actually just recently passed Tier 3. Now, my initial guess from Tuesday was that I think that we could actually get all the way up to Tier 4 and maybe even past that by the next game refresh, which is Tuesday, in which we'll get, say, Relic of the Undead and everything like that, in which Horde Point is going to be a main central hub for this, I think, just because there are so many zombies you have to kill to just essentially stay alive. So that's something that we hit the 3rd tier, and we now have the ability to get the Durst camo, but also the Tesla gun is in multiplayer. Unfortunately, the camo is not in multiplayer. That is a zombie-specific thing. It's kind of, once again, weighing it for a 1-to-1 reward for zombies and the multiplayer community as well. So the camo is zombies exclusive at the moment, but that's something that you can take a look at if you are a zombies player. But the Tesla gun is a ton of fun to play around with. If you guys have gone into any of the zombies modes, if you kill the zombies, it'll drop randomly every so often, and you can end up even getting more ammo out of it if you walk over new drops of it. So it's in Infected as well as Horde Point right now, and then of course next week, come that, it'll be in Relic of the Undead as well. Also, you might notice that this week's weekly challenge, one of the orders is for 200 explosive kills, so if you end up getting that and activating it, those actually count as explosive kills. So it really will help you out with that process, and you can go on some nice streaks with it. So it's a lot of fun to play around with. Definitely give that a shot. But regardless, moving on a little bit further. The next thing they mentioned were a few little hot fixes within the game, both on a more minor scale in terms of challenge progress and UI, as well as MMR issues with ranked play. And as of yesterday, a quick little multiplayer and zombies hotfix, in which again, it helped out with the UI issues in multiplayer for the community challenge, as well as they scaled back the smoke VFX after grenades and their explosions. So if you end up seeing a grenade now explode compared to what it was previously, it won't create as much of a dust cloud. So it's really nice in that sense that it doesn't obscure your view all that much more, but it is still something that was adjusted there. And as for zombies, well, they fixed an issue where the character's dialogue subtitles were not appearing properly. So again, very minor stuff, but stuff they fixed nonetheless throughout the week. The next thing, just a little recap here at this, was the Call of Duty Endowment Fear Not pack. That's still available right now if you guys do not have that already for the US and the UK players. That is something in which there are, once again, 2 different levels of this that you can do, one for $5 and one for $10, in which one will give you the base Fear Not pack, which is a camo, weapon, charm, uniform, and I believe calling card, and then the second one for $10 is one that gives you everything of both packs that you end up getting, plus again an animated theme for your PS4 or home menu on your console. So that's something that, again, I would totally recommend you definitely pick up if you have a few bucks to spare, simply because it does go full 100% proceeds to the Call of Duty Endowment, which goes to helping veterans get back into work after their service. So that's something that I think is a great cause, and I already picked mine up for that. I had the earlier pack from earlier in the year, so I only had to pick up the Fear Not, but again, definitely think that it's worth getting if you guys have not done so already. The next thing we're going to talk about is, again, a recap, but it transitions then into the next week of content. Again, you guys may have already seen that we had the Type 5 for this week's weapon contract out of the Quartermaster, Captain Butcher now giving that for 5,000 armory credits with a time frame of 1 hour to get 15 multi-kills, falling in line more so with all the other things we've already seen, in which they are a slight challenge, but in the grand scheme of things, they shouldn't take that long, so it's almost like you're paying 5,000 armory credits just to get that base variant, almost guaranteed, but technically not, I guess. So that's something you can pick up if you guys have not done so already. Type 5 is very similar to that of the M1, so if you don't necessarily want another semi-auto weapon, it is comparable to something that is a base weapon in the game, but if you guys want to collect it and you don't have variants already and you have the armory credits, well, certainly is worth it. Now here's where it's going to start to transition into the next week content and even a little bit further than that. So talking about weapon contracts, next week we actually have for the first time detailed to us ahead of time what that weapon will be. Next week's weapon contract available in the Quartermaster will be the MG81 from the Shamrock and Awe collection. So that's going to be something that we end up seeing, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, we've seen this one before, but it's going to be available for everyone if you don't have it already. We don't have any specifics on the challenges. Once again, more than likely it's going to be right around that 5,000 armory credit total. About another hour time frame is my guess, and as for challenges, well, that's where it really comes down to it, because there seems to be a little bit of a rotation on what they are, and they don't really ever seem to match up per se, but that's something that you can see that next week for probably right around that time frame and also cost within the Quartermaster. But that's also where we end up going a little bit further, because we also have the week after that detailed for us, in which we know that the week after the MG81, not next week, but the week after that, is the Sten in the Quartermaster for, again, probably 5,000 armory credits, maybe 80 S kills, whatever it may be, but in an hour's time frame, probably right around there. And the Sten we have seen before 100%, I know that for a fact, in the Quartermaster, so it's a repeat, unfortunately, but it is something that is still going to be there, and a great weapon nonetheless. Honestly, I think these next 2 weeks are going to be very good in terms of what you want to do if you don't have either of these, because the MG81 is, in my books, probably one of the best MGs in the game. Maybe the new Lewis is right up there with it, but I still think the MG81, in my own personal preference, I might like that one a little bit more. And as for the Sten, well, I'd still say it's a very good SMG. I don't know if I'd classify it as top 3, but it is still something that is very comparable to a lot of what the middle ground SMGs are, and still, if you have the right attachments, you can definitely dominate with it in any game mode. But weapons aside, let's go back into what is next week's content. Again, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but one thing that is also going to be available next week is Relic of the Undead, the brand new mode for the Attack of the Undead event, and which is the third and final of the new modes that we'll be getting within this event. And as for the week after that, we don't know if all 3 will be available or what will happen, but that's something that next week it's going to be available for every player to play, and it's a lot of fun. It is very similar to that of Gridiron, but without having to score any goals or objectives with that. All you gotta do is really just play a giant game of keep away. You get the armor like you have as a carrier for the Relic if you were, say, playing Gridiron, and other than that, it's again very similar. You lose your weapon and you carry around the skull, but a lot of fun. Got to detail that a little bit and show it off a little bit at the stream at Sledgehammer last week whenever we started the event, so it was a lot of fun, and it was cool to get a little hands-on experience with that. I think you guys will enjoy that. That's also going then to be the subject of the midweek mobilization from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time next Wednesday, June 13th until Thursday, June 14th to get double XP when you party up in Relic of the Undead. So again, following that trend of both of the midweek mobilizations we've already seen throughout the event itself with party up double XP. And then also throughout that, we'll see the weekend warfare take place, in which it's another triple double XP event for the weekend, starting on June 15th going until June 18th, that Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, in which we'll get double XP, double weapon XP, and double division XP in Relic of the Undead. So again, very much so following that pattern that we've seen the past couple of weeks now within the event, and that is where we really come to with those game modes. Now, one cool thing also going to be happening next Friday, June 15th, is CWL Anaheim. So that's something that, if you guys are into the competitive scene, that's where the next competitive tournament is going to be taking place. That's going to be going on all weekend, and I would imagine so that on that Sunday, as we've seen with all the tournaments in the past as of recently, we get a special order in Major Howard's, in which all we got to do is watch some content in the theater for a supply drop and some social score. I don't know what sort of value we'd get for social score. I think it's been 250 and maybe 500 as of recently, but that's something we'll get a quick little boost to that as well, plus a supply drop for simply going into the theater and activating that. That's my guess that that would happen then, but we don't have anything detailed officially to us at that point. But that's something that, again, they'll probably tweet out around that time. The cool thing after all of that, starting on the 19th until the end of the event on the 26th, that's when we're going to start to see bonus XP for all Attack of the Undead modes. So we talked about, theoretically, all the modes coming back and being playable for that last weekend. It sure seems like that by the way this is described. It says they're giving us double XP in Infected, Horde Point, and Relic of the Undead until the end of our Attack of the Undead update on Tuesday, June 26th. So that said, you're gonna have the last chance to get all that kind of stuff coming, and also a lot of chances to rank up and grind out across all those modes. So it's gonna be great to see that. And the final thing that they detail for us is actually something that is a little bit ambiguous. They don't give us all that much information on it, but they say that weapon tuning and changes will be coming as of June 19th, and to keep an eye out for more details on those changes as we get closer to releasing them. So I don't know if these will be your guesses honestly as good as mine, but it is something to keep an eye out for, and maybe we can theorize a little bit down there in the comment section down below. But that is a very, very hefty update that Sledgehammer gave us in terms of this weekly update we usually get over on their blog. So let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. That's gonna wrap it up here at this one. Is there anything in particular you guys are excited to hear about? Any of these weapon contracts you are looking forward to, that being the MG81 or the Sten? Or with weapon tuning, is that something you're looking forward to? Double XP across all modes, whatever it is, let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below, or if there's something you were kind of hoping to see and necessarily didn't within this. Anything it may be, let me know your thoughts. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. And if you guys are new to the channel as well, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty World War II, updates, information, news, best class items, tips, tricks, all that good stuff we got you covered here up on the channel. So if any of that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube, practically live on Twitter. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. And if you guys want to follow me over on Instagram as well, trying to get more active over there, so that link is also in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. Take care and peace.